Working in a garage anywhere in the world with a good idea can put us out of business.
The pie in the face.
Any kid working in a garage anywhere in the world with a good idea can put us out of business. Any kid working in a garage anywhere in the world with a good idea can put us out of business.
Use the beard oil all the witches are talking about this Halloween. Luxurious Bastard Beard Co. Use promo code LEGENDARY for a discount. Link in description.
You are now listening to the greatest show in the universe.
Hey man, this is Tommy Chong, and right now you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey, this is George Belfort, the real Wolf of Wall Street, and you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
The Anthony Rogers Show.
Welcome back to the greatest show in the entire universe. Today we have a huge guest, interesting subject. I don't think I've covered this before, so it'll be interesting. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, and we'll ask the guests as well. We have Madam Bella Cummins.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. I'm really good this evening.
It's awesome. Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on here. So tell us a little bit about yourself. So you're the longest running legal brothel runner, basically. Is it proper terminology, or how do I say it?
Well, you were close. I am the longest standing madam in the history of brothels in, I'm going to call it rural Nevada. And I'm also a female, and that's an oddity. It used to be that in the 50s through the 70s, there were a lot of women, but then that moved towards male ownership. I came in about the 80s, and I've been at Bella's Hacienda Ranch ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. What got you into this originally, I guess? Like, kind of a cheesy question, but I mean, I feel like it's good for, like, I don't have much knowledge of the field, you know?
I actually married a gentleman who wanted to be a silent partner in what was then called Hacienda. And of course, now it's Bella's Hacienda Ranch. But he wasn't a very good businessman, best way to put it. And so he needed me to step up and learn how to do the bookkeeping, which really was my intro into running a brothel. Later, I learned how to be a madam, how to be an effective madam with, I'm going to call it empowerment for all as my goal.
So what is like a day in the life of like you? Like what do you like? What is like a day of your job like to people like that don't understand this like that?
Oh, golly. Well, when I arrive, I like to see how everything went, let's say the day before. I like to make sure that the building is running properly, whether it's heat or cool. I like to check in with the ladies, spend enough time with them that if they have things to share or want some, I'm going to say some mentorship, that I'm available. Yes, there's bookkeeping, there's ordering, and also things like advertising, the PR part of it, which is thank you for having me on. And it's helping other people understand that a business like this exists. And it's of course rural Nevada, and a lot of people just aren't aware that how successful it's been for these smaller communities.
So what I guess what is your clientele like? What kind of what is your target demographic? I guess and like.
Well, I did an article for the New York Post about Utah
I
being the
saw.
most sexually repressed state in the nation. I do believe Idaho is well along the way with some of that as well. But the idea is it's true. And many, many times, I think across the country, we are somewhat sexually repressed. We don't really know how to be human and interact with one another safely so that um, I'm going to say so we can understand how to communicate. And, I did another article recently that was really about cell phones and how people don't communicate anymore. You can see them sitting at a dinner table at a very nice restaurant and they aren't talking. They're flipping through their phones. And so I believe that our society could get back to some basics here of understanding how to communicate and that does include um, our sexuality.
Do people have to like show proof that they don't have like STDs and stuff like that when they enter a brothel like that? Like,
Actually, no. All right, condoms are mandatory. Condoms and lubrication have come a long way. And what I have found over all of my years at Bella's is that clients that come into Bella's are clean. They want to stay clean. And because everything is medically regulated and tested at a brothel, they know that that's going to happen. And so that's it's a big part of the public safety. And it's been that way even before condoms were mandatory. And when I first started, it was it was legal to have sex without a condom in a brothel.
what's the age range of the girls there that work under you or work with you, whatever?
Well, the ones that work with me, they range between 21 and I'm going to say 39, 40. Every now and then there's a 42 maybe. Uh, but I mean, they don't look it. They don't, and it's okay to never look your age, especially if you're a woman.
Is there a lot of turnover, or these ladies been working for you for a long time now? I guess like.
I have some ladies that have worked for me for a few years. I have ladies that do short tours, but over my 37 years, it's been that way. Ladies have come in and there's some that really have what I call dreams and goals. And so they come in and they might be there for 2 months or 6 months and then they'll go home for a little bit, but they reach their goals. And that's usually, homes and education and, of course, typically a really great means of transportation. But it's a career where they can make a lot of money, all right? But it's typically a short career, so they need to sort of get in and get out. In other words, if you're starting at 21, you should probably want to get out at 30, or if you're starting at 30, by let's say 40. So those are the ideas behind how long a career might a courtesan want to have.
What is the recruiting process for this like? Like, how do you find your talent or women or whatever terminology like?
Well, I'm reasonably well known as far as what I call um, the network of courtesans, and there are some that are okay with working in houses that have stricter policies or are men owned, but the ladies that are choosing me and applying, they're interviewed by me and then when they're hired, they say that they would like to work with a woman, someone that can help them understand uh, how to make the most out of this short career. And it is a profession. Very few women can do it. It's I'm going to say less than 1% of the
What
world's
is
population.
what's like a package or something like that? Like what kind of say like a guy goes in there and whatever terminology, like what how does that work? Like a customer comes in, he's like, oh hi, I'd like to like whatever, or what, how does that work?
At Bella's, he would ring the doorbell. We answer the door. We explain how it works, and we are a lineup house, which means that every lady that's in the house will line up and say their name in front of him. And we always share with the client the payment options, and that it's good if he talks to as many ladies as he would like to find the correct lady and the correct experience. So that means he never needs to feel badly that like somebody's feelings are going to get hurt. We want him to find the correct lady. The ladies want him to find who he's looking for. So
How
there's
much is
no,
that?
pardon me.
How much is that? Like how much is that for like a guy to go in there and have that experience?
Well, here's how we explain it. We have short parties for guys on the go that start at a few $100s. So we just say a few because we never know what the gentleman's budget might really be. The mid-range parties are typically our most popular, and they can, go into the I'm going to say the mid hundreds, and then when you get up into, we'll call it thousands, then those are fantasy parties. Those are parties that are really orchestrated for um, guests that maybe want a multiple lady experience.
No, that's interesting. Like, what kind of guys go in here? Like, what is your? I kind of loosely asked, but like, what kind of guy walks through the door typically? What kind of? I mean, I assume all kinds, but like, what are some typical cases? Like, I mean,
The Here's how I'd like to explain it. The gentlemen's the gentlemen that come through the door come from all walks of life, okay? Yes, we get some long haul drivers. Typically, we are getting the clients that are uh, what I call coming to Bella's. It's a destination. It's something they want to experience. They want to be able to ask for a certain type of party. They want to be able to talk about how much money they want to spend, and then they would like that experience to be even better than they could have orchestrated it. So they come from all walks of life. They from I'm going to say the very wealthy to working men and moderate incomes, and so that's why we do our best to work with every guest's budget. So it's a I mean, we've really had clients come in and spend an unbelievable amount of money, but that's what they felt like they were worth. That's what they wanted. That was the experience. And so for them, that was living out exactly what they wanted it to be and more.
can I actually borrow some money?
I was going to ask you if I could use your credit card.
but no, that's interesting. So you just got into the accounting end. Like your goal wasn't even to really run a brothel. Like, is that true, or like you were just kind of like running books? You said just in business in general. Kind of that's how you're gonna do it.
Uh, I was actually a restaurant owner for a while, and I'm a horse trainer, but I only train my own nowadays. But when I got into this bookkeeping thing, I it's like understanding business, all right? And yes, Bella's Hacienda Ranch is a business, all right? But it's more than that because it deals with healing and a lot of times there's psychology in it. It's an art form, and a lot of times it's just out and out fun. So it's a business that I never felt necessarily um, I'm going to say drawn to, but it seemed like it was drawn to me. And so I stepped up. And then the more I was around it, the more I realized as my late husband passed and I was said the reins were handed to me, that there were things about being human, and that people are fragile and people get injured emotionally, and that includes, like sexual healing. And so I saw this opportunity that these women, I call them courtesans, and men needed in order to have something they would never forget. And it was beyond just, you know, uh, a sexual encounter. It was as if they left something with each one, whether they realized it or not. And I found that fascinating.
So this is legal statewide in Nevada, basically.
In rural counties,
Okay.
when you take like Las Vegas or Reno or Carson City, no, there are no brothels there. However, we've been 52 years in rural Nevada, about 19 brothels, and we have proven that this model of I'm going to call it um, sensual sexual services is a benefit to uh, the counties, to incorporated cities, to businesses in those areas in general. And so we have been, I'm going to say, a major part of keeping rural Nevada prosperous.
That's crazy. What does a business like yours make like a year if it's not totally rude to ask? I'm not in the IRS or anything. I was just like wondering, like, I just personally as a businessman, like, what does that bring in like profit wise a year?
Well, rather than talking about the profit, because things vary, of course they do. You know, I would rather say that in these rural brothels, about 400,000 people visit them in a year, and we have our share of those clients.
That's what I was thinking. It seems like it seems like $1 million kind of operation. Like I'm kind of just like if I'm doing the numbers, I'm like that's probably a lot of money. And like I just basically I'm bad at math. I barely passed it in college, but I can I can understand I can still like understand like an entrepreneur spirit and stuff. And like so how 50 something years in business like you said
No, I'm 37, but
37
the
years. That's crazy.
37 in business. I know I'm only
Pretty- Yeah,
23.
yeah.
23. Yep.
You look younger than I do, which is weird that I read you're 73 and you literally look I feel like you look younger than I do. I look like I'm older. Probably the beard. I don't know.
Well, I don't have a beard. But
It's probably what it is. I don't know. I'm
I
just
don't
like
think that's it though. But seriously, yes, I'm 73.
that's
I
crazy.
don't look at it. I ride my horse every single day. And of course, you got to kind of take care of yourself. But I
Is
am
it the
still,
adrenochrome?
where am I from?
Is it the adrenochrome? Is that why you look young?
No, but I'm not keen on that. And I heard people do that.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing.
And
I
I
was basically
figured you
I was
would.
basically calling you a vampire because because you look like you
Well,
look younger. I was like how do you look? You're 73 and you look younger than I'm like that's crazy to me. I
well,
don't know.
thank you. See, but I feel good about that,
Good for
because
you. Yeah.
I
Bad for
don't
me, but good for
know.
you.
How old are you?
I'm 37, but I look like I look like I'm about to ground you or something. I'm like, I feel like I look older. It's like so. I guess bad news for me, but good news for you. I look older than a 73-year-old woman on this podcast right now.
Oh my God. Well, we could trade numbers, I guess. Yeah, I could be 37, you could be 73.
What it
But
looks like. It looks like I'm like about to come down your chimney and put presents down there. That's what
well,
it.
that'd be nice.
Is.
So, but what I was going to say though about the length of time that I've been in the industry is that I feel like I've made a difference. And for whatever reason, I'm just still supposed to be in the position that I'm in. And of course, I'm after letting more people know that this type of business is really an industry. And I know that sensual sexual services, whether it's escort or massage parlors or whatever it is is labeled as an industry. But I believe firmly that because it's a legal licensed location, that it is an industry within an industry. And so, I mean, it has the rules, it has the regulations, tax gets collected. It's, good for the tax base. It's good for public safety. And so all of those things is what I believe people would like to know. They'd like to know how this is within this industry of a very judgmental opinion about sex work. Okay, and what I always say, it's very difficult to call something an industry if there isn't something like a location or regulations. You couldn't have a Disneyland if you didn't have a location. So, in a way, this idea of a location that has a license and is, we call it regulated, medically regulated, that it is a destination for guests that want to experience, I'm going to call it their humanness safely and without any ties, without any obligation except to arrive and to come to terms with what they'd like to spend.
I like how you phrase it. It sounds like medicinal pussy. You're like it's like how you buy weed. You're like it's medicinal quality pussy. It's top grade. It's sativa indica mix. It's it's like that's like what it's. No, I love it. I love it. And like as a married man, I have like conflicted views. Like I personally don't understand the customer standpoint, but as an entrepreneur, I'm like, make your money. Like I'm like, if people, that's how as a businessman, I'm like, make your money though. It's like. But I think that like there's money anywhere, and I think that if you can stay in business that long, there's a need for it, and people are gonna do it anyway. You may as well take their money. Like basically, from my perspective. But I just don't. I wouldn't understand. I don't know. I couldn't understand paying a girl to do that. I don't know why. That's myself.
You already do. You already do.
No, she pays me. I'm broke. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But no, it's like I view sex like a sacred thing, But it doesn't mean that everyone has to. It doesn't mean everybody has to have my beliefs and like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like that's what life's about. It's like I think you're doing things by the book, and like people feeding a need people are going to buy anyway. I think it's better to have a brothel than it is to find people off the street, and they're usually drug addicts and stuff, and like who knows what their health is like. And I think you're offering people like you said a medicinal kind of product by like these girls being safe. I'm assuming, and like all these things. So I mean, I think you're taking. I think so. It's you're not gonna stop prostitution. So you may as well make it safe. And in a way that's like good, like you said, for the community making money and like other things. You may as well do what you know what I mean? I feel like you may as well do it right if you're going to do it. I feel like as if, And like
well, it's happening anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's happening anyway. So
it may as well be safe and tested and ran by people that are smart and like you're well spoken. So I mean, I'd rather people be dealing with you than like a street pimp or something, and like the girl's got like needles in her arms and stuff. I'm like, oh, $25. It's like, I mean, that's what's going to happen without you. That's what's going to happen without you. I mean, that's like, in my opinion. It's just going to be less regulated, less safe, less like it's going to be a bigger deal illegal in my opinion. Like I'd almost push for it legalization of that as far as like as a libertarian standpoint. It's like I don't do it, but like if people want to, I don't fucking care. It doesn't affect me. What I mean? It's just like I don't care. That's how I view it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you even care, but I'll just say my opinion. But
no, it's okay to say what you have to say. I know. And I know that there are many, many gentlemen that are off on their own careers. They don't want a relationship. They don't have time right now. They don't want to split their stuff just to have a relationship. And so this gives them a variety of women. This gives them and exactly what they're after.
Right.
Well, maybe if I take her out to dinner, this will happen or that'll happen. This is absolutely above board. Both individuals are agreeing that this is the experience they're going to have.
Yeah, consensual's perfect, and I think like regulations get on it too. Mm-hmm. I mean, keep them safe. I think like I said, it takes the street quality out of it basically. I mean, that's what I think with like weed and other drugs, an example too. You're not getting like mixed with like fentanyl. Whatever. I mean, that's just a weird metaphor, but I'm just saying like I think it's people are allowed to make decisions as human beings. You're allowed to do whatever you want within reason. It's like I feel as if
Mm-hmm. It's supposedly as long as it doesn't harm someone else.
long as the
So
government can tax it, right? They just want to make sure they can tax you. Like as long as we're getting the tax dollars, it's fine. You know.
well, it's a very rewarding position being madam, okay? And uh, thousands and thousands of men have come through, and and hopefully some of them are out there and they go, hey, that's Bella, and I've made a difference in a lot of men and women's life, and coming from this openness that I am, non-judgmental, where we aren't dealing with the stigma and the stereotype that. So, because it isn't, we have a very short life and we want to be sexual beings. So, if we can do it in a house, a legal licensed house, and that's exactly what the courtesans or the clients, guests are looking for, then it's perfect. The idea is to give people a choice that's safe or unsafe. So I say it's a courtesan that works in a house. She's licensed, she has a business license, she has work card, she gets fingerprinted. Or if you're going to work outside of a house and you aren't really in a legal industry, then you can wear the label prostitute because there's nothing licensed or really legal about it. You're just um, doing what you want to do, and it means it really isn't a business at that point.
Do you feel a lot of push for the people saying it should be illegal, or more people saying it should be legal? What do you hear from your standpoint? Like what is it like for you in that regard?
Um, in the city of Wells, I'm I'm respected, all right, but no one wants to put their hand up and say that they are pro prostitution. They know everything good that Bella's Hacienda Ranch does for the community, but don't ask them. Don't make them choose to be for or against. We've been there so long, since like 1950, even though it's a different building, uh, and 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 they would never want us gone. So that's enough. And then I believe when we get to talking about other states or other rural areas, if there's a destination, it would probably work the same. But most of these, uh, I'm going to say, foundations that I hear about really just want decriminalization. And I just don't see, because I've always been in legalization, how anything decriminalized can operate correctly without regulation. I don't think people should be criminals just because uh, they want to have sex. You don't want to make them felons and criminals and all of that. But I still think it would be great to have the option in rural areas in other states where they actually made it something that was an industry that benefited the 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 ladies, the guests, and the county or incorporated city.
Cool, cool. Yeah, no, well said. So how long has it been legal there? I guess. Wait, wait,
Uh,
wait. Actually, one sec. We have a weather report in the middle of this. I forgot what time it was. It's like we have a weather report real fast. Our Frank McDonald will come into the weather, and we'll get back to you can be on there. So I'm saying like we'll get back to maybe part of it. Hey Frank.
Hi Anthony. Hi Bella. I'm Frank. I'm doing great so far. Things are going great on Charlotte Street in Sydney right now.
Awesome, brother. So what's the weather like this week?
It's cold outside in Sydney, Nova Scotia. It was raining outside on Monday morning in Sydney, Nova Scotia as well. It was on and off rain on Monday evening, and it was a lot of rain on and off for the whole weekend. This weekend past. Things are going great so far. It's been snowing in Calgary, Alberta, and the temperatures got really, really, really cold in Alberta right now. Then it got lots of snowstorm hit for North Dakota on Thursday.
What's it like in Nevada right now or this week?
Right now, Nevada's dry. Right now, Nevada, including Las Vegas, Reno, and Carson City, Nevada. As for right now,
What's Missouri like this week?
Missouri this week is supposed to get cold front going through. Missouri's going to bring some of the thunderstorms and rain later on in the week.
Yikes! That's not good. So what's Florida like this week?
Right now, then they got a polar air and the Arctic air coming head towards Alberta this week as well.
So
The
everywhere's getting
temperature's going to bring well below 32 Fahrenheit up in Alberta, Canada.
crazy. What's it like in Australia right now?
It's going to
This
get hot in Australia. In another couple of months, there'll be summertime. They bring lots of hailstorms to southeastern Australia because it's their severe weather season in southeastern Australia and things like this.
It's crazy.
It's going to bring a lot of snow this December, January, February, March in Missouri. Then they got total solar eclipse hitting for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8, 2024.
That's you're throwing a party then, right?
Yes, then they got an eclipse coming to Sydney, Nova Scotia Monday, April 8, 2024. I'd like to introduce our podcaster, Anthony Rogers. Say hi.
How you guys doing?
And this is then they got total solar. Anthony Rogers, based in St. Louis. And did you hear about this total solar? Don't know yet. In spring. Then they got total solar eclipse heading for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8, 2024.
Will Missouri see that solar eclipse?
Total solar eclipse heading right for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8, 2024.
Guys, so you said winter's gonna have a lot of snow and stuff?
That when the moon crosses over the sun, it gets dark outside in the middle of the afternoon.
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to all that.
Hey Bella, I'm Frank McDowell. I'm a YouTuber for Sydney, Nova Scotia, Canada. I do my weather reports, dancing videos, and my comedy videos. I just shouted out Bitcoin last night. I said Bitcoin.
Hi, Frankie.
Hi Bella. I'm doing great so far. I'm Frank McDowell. And my most viewed video ever on my YouTube channel is Guy tries to eat 50 hot dogs at once.
Oh, my word.
Do you have any questions for Bella? She runs the longest running legal brothel in Nevada. Do you have any questions for her? You have any questions for Bella, Frankie?
How is the weather in Nevada?
We're in northeastern Nevada, Frankie, and we were actually quite mild today, about 66. But in the next 2 days, it's going to plummet with your Arctic air.
Yes, because of the cold air. It's going all the way down to California, Arizona, and things like this.
Yes, it is.
In Vancouver, British Columbia, and British Columbia's going to get snow up in the mountains and things like this. In Victoria, British Columbia, and Vancouver Island is going to get snow too, and it's going to bring below 20 Fahrenheit in Alberta in the nighttime.
Nice, man. That's crazy. So, any other weather we should talk? Like, I guess a lot of people through the states and maybe like what's England like this week coming up? Bless you.
This week coming up, they got warm air, cold air fighting each other. Lots of storms coming off the east coast of the United States this time of the year because the nor'easter season, Colorado low season, and atmospheric river season coming all the way from Hawaii to Vancouver and Seattle and Portland, all these places.
Wow, a lot of rain this week. Not good. Not good. Well, thank you, Frank. Anything else you want to throw out? Or if you want to throw out any promo or you got any questions for Bella, feel free.
Hey, Bella, how is things in Nevada so far?
You know, things are good. We really had a pretty nice summer. So, and actually kind of a long fall. So I'm still not crazy about it getting colder, but it's going to do it. And then I'm going to want to be like a bear and crawl in a cave.
What's South Carolina like?
Right now, it's going to be really warm.
What?
Because it's really warm right now.
Everywhere else is freezing and rain and snow except for South Carolina right now. I'm in the wrong spot.
I'm having a great day so far.
It's awesome. What time is it there?
It's 11:05 p.m. in Sydney, Nova Scotia, 10:05 p.m. in New York City, 9:05 p.m. in St. Louis, Missouri, 8:05 p.m. in Denver, Colorado, 7:05 p.m. in Los Angeles.
Yes, sir.
So I would be 7:05 p.m.
That's crazy how time works. Yeah, 11, 7, and 9 right now. It's crazy. Well, Frank, you got any more weather questions for Bella or anything like that? Like before we get back to the.
And how's the weather for Montana and Idaho and Wyoming?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Well, I would think that they had some rain over the past 24 hours. Did they?
That means lots of rain and storms coming on Alaska right now.
Wow.
It's crazy. Well, thank you, Frank. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Like,
If you want to follow me on social media, my Twitter is @FrankieMacD. My Blue Sky is @FrankieMacD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDown. My Instagram is FrankieMacD984. My TikTok is FrankDown984. My Clapper is FrankDown984. My Twitch is FrankDown984. My Snapchat is FrankieMacDon. My YouTube channel is Dogs, Wolves, and my LinkedIn's FrankDown. Best luck to you. I'm Frank Down. You're listening to Anthony Rogers Show.
bam. Appreciate it, Frankie. Like, that's the weather for the week. Frankie's one of the most famous weathermen on the earth. Like, if you look at his numbers, it's crazy. Like, he's been on like Tosh Point and stuff. But anyway, back to the show, back to the interview, right? Like after the weekly weather report. So, I'm sorry.
I think he's a fun gentleman, and he's probably one of the smartest weathermen out there. He looks out the window.
Yeah. No, he's great, man. Like, and you ask him anywhere, he just knows like. He knows like anywhere, and like so if people listening live, wherever I like to ask what they're watching, they have the weather report for that week. You know, he's pretty on point usually too. I mean, if he tells me it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain probably. So I mean, he's been right so far. Like the last like 5 weeks we've had one. It's crazy.
Go Frankie.
He's best at promo too. He just like names like everything he's ever been on. He's like names like 20. He has like 20 links. I'm like, man, I need to get his good promo like that. Like. Just jump on shows and stuff. Well, do you have any questions before we go back to the questions?
Do I have any questions before?
Or the reverse card?
I believe that what I look forward to is just having people understand and ask questions and just learn more about the whole idea of what's worked in Nevada for 52-ish years, because it's something no other state's ever done. You know, you talk about cannabis, well, it's going across the country, or gambling, or things like that. And yet in Nevada, it's like the model that was created in the 70s, even though I'm sure the NRS code could use a facelift, just in what I call terms, that other states aren't looking at that saying, well, wow, it worked there. And so it's really so underappreciated. So I did an op-ed piece in Nevada Independent on, I think it was October 18th. And I talked about it, how all these other states, they talk about the Nordic law or decriminalization, and they're stomping their feet that no legalization. No, we don't want that. But they don't understand it. They don't understand the benefits, nor have they maybe come in to Bella's Hacienda Ranch and said, Bella, show me how this works. So it's like standing outside of something and then saying, oh no, it'll never work where I am. But you have to have details. You have to be, I'm going to say, a student of what has worked somewhere else.
You brought up a really good point, and you gave me a really good idea. We should do this idea. We should do a walkthrough of your place, for one of these shows. You should just do like a walkthrough, and like we set it up to where you're just like going through, or we can even pre-record or something like I think
Sure.
that's a very great point, and it's kind of just interesting because I think a lot of people just would never see that aspect of it, and just like in my kind of point of view, just like as a guy watching a documentary, that'd be like a cool thing to watch and like see the ins and outs and like what you know what I mean, like what kind of what it is even like. You're right. I think people need to understand that. I think that's a good point.
Well, that's why we give complimentary tours,
Hmm.
and they're always surprised, that it isn't some sort of a half-naked drunken orgy. It's very professional. It's a beautiful place. It's absolutely stunning. And then you put the women in there, and then it's really stunning. And they're educated, they're kind, they're compassionate, they're non-judgmental, and they can talk about anything. And so it's something that someone out there that's just thinking about sex services could never imagine.
We should
That
set
it's
that up. We should set up a walkthrough with video, like have you walk through and explain it while I'm on camera, on screen, or something like at some point. Because that could be kind of interesting, just like to show people, like you said. I mean, I think that'd be interesting if you're interested in that. I think that'd be like crazy. Like,
well, I'm interested. I'm interested in helping people understand why it works and how it works.
yeah, I'm just interested in a real story. You know, I just want I feel like my opinion doesn't matter as much as just like it is documenting what's happening, kind of like it's kind of like interesting. You know, I feel like more or less like that's what I think hosting mostly is. It's like knowing when to shut up. that's like the best thing, like the best thing a host can know, and just let the host like kind of give information. Because I think a lot of people are interested in the subject matter and don't know where. I mean, don't have the opportunity to hear somebody explain it really. You know.
And and that's well said. And what I was going to share with you is anyone listening, if you're on I-80 or Highway 93 or close, we are the crossroads of the Western United States. Stop. Just take a walk through. There's no obligation, but get your questions answered.
Use promo
And
code Anthony Rogers 20.
yeah,
Use promo get 20%
there
off.
you go. Oh, there you go. Well, interestingly enough, I offered the Mormons 10% off. I never gave out one discount, and a lot of them showed up. And so I guess it wasn't really about the discount. It was about them coming in to see what it was really about, and then some partook of the goods and some had a great complimentary tour.
Even the Mormons are welcome.
Well, I work to never use the M word because, that's sort of one of those things. The only thing about, and I've noticed this for some folks that are podcasters instead of YouTubers, right? Is that a word, YouTuber? At any rate, if you podcast and you're inside of a brothel, they'll show it, but if you have any advertisers, you won't get the money.
Yeah, YouTube like doesn't give me any money, so I just sell ads because like YouTube's like here's 50 cents for being awesome, and I'm just like I just like sell a bunch of ads and like that. Like if I set up something, if I did a podcast inside your brothel, I bet I could sell ads for it still. And I think I think people could make money. I think that's a good idea because like I don't know, I'm far and I'm like anchored right now, but I mean I tour as a comedian. I'm in Utah. I'm sure I cut Nevada and Utah, so I cut through those areas.
Well,
But,
then stop in. There's been many, many, many famous people like yourself.
I'll be like, I'll tell my wife, I'm like, it's just a walkthrough from a podcast guest, It's just, I'm just joking. No, it's just like my wife's like, what do you do?
Bring her in.
No, she probably, no, I probably will. But no, I was just making fun of myself more so.
But and that's always.
But I know, yeah.
One.
But yeah,
But
no, I
bring
think
her in. Couples come in all the time. Some of them want to have that experience. Some want to just see it, understand it. And
I
so
want them to watch me. I want to get 3 girls to watch me.
Do what? Watch
Bang
me
my wife.
do what?
Bang my wife in front of them. I'm like, this is what a Christian man does, and this is what going to heaven looks like. I'm just joking. I'm just joking with you. I'm just fucking around. All right, I want an audience, and we're gonna pray before. And then I'm just messing around. That'd be a funny documentary, like just like troll and stuff. And like, I'm just messing around.
Well, I'm sure you could pay them to be voyeurs. It would be all right.
Perfect. Then yeah,
Mhm.
deal. That's part of the walkthrough.
I don't know. They're probably going to say, Anthony, bring your credit card.
Promo code Anthony Rogers 20 gets me 20% off. No, that's great. I like that you have a sense of humor about it. You're not all uptight and crazy. You're just chill. You seem like a chill person. I pictured someone in your situation just like yelling at people all day. Like you're just like, you better do your job. You're fired. You fucking bot. I picture like when they show like madams, or they show like I don't mean any just like pimps and other terminology. Usually they're like crazy and like backhanded motherfuckers and shit. And you just like seem like well spoken. You're like I just run the books. You seem like I don't know. You seem like you work for like a corporation or something.
Oh, yep, there you go. I'm a really great mentor for clients, guests, and ladies alike. When you get to be 37, you start getting a little bit wiser, right? And
I
then when
hope.
you kind of go across that bridge and you reverse those numbers, you know, what was important to you in the morning in your 30s isn't probably even on the list when you get into 70s. And having
What
a
is
good time and being on like your YouTube channel, and this is fun for me. This is where I get to talk about something that has been my life, not who I am. It's just what I came here apparently to do and how to be in service to others with my clothes on.
What are your priorities like? What are your priorities like at 73? I think that's a really interesting thing you brought up. Like, what do you prioritize now that you didn't in your 30s, like late 30s rather?
In your 70s, you realize that there's a possibility you have more days behind you than in front of you. And so making each moment count is huge. It wouldn't matter if I was out there cleaning out the chicken coop. As long as I was enjoying the chickens and talking to them and them knowing that I'm really counting on them to lay those eggs and they're appreciated. And that's like, even though I'm only talking about my chickens, that's what it's like, where you don't miss a flower that's blooming, where you stop and talk to the tree that you planted and said, really like it if you lived, and there's just things that are more fulfilling than stuff or money, where it's like you always have enough. But when I was in my 30s, it was like I was scrambling. How was I going to make the mortgages? How was I going to pay the bills? Maybe I dealt with people that weren't very honest back then in this industry. And now I would I wouldn't even imagine hiring or working with, if you will, someone that wasn't as 100% honest like myself. And so every day I get up, I'm 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 happy. I get another day. And how can I make a difference? What can I do today for someone else?
Yeah, I feel a
It's a
lot of
lot
that.
like,
I feel a lot of that already. Sorry, I was getting hyped up, but
no,
I feel a lot of what you said. Like as far as my day to day is kind of like that, but I am still chasing money to where like I think in a couple of years I'll be able to only focus on what I want to do. But I think I still have to be in this like rat race. I still have to sell ads. I still have to like be like, why yes, a massive like here's your ad, and do that for a little bit longer. But so I'm still like chasing the money aspect, but I think I'm way more free than I've ever been. Like you normally like live in like a bus and I just like travel, do comedy. So I feel like I got the freedom early. I got the RV and the freedom, and I love that aspect of it. And I agree with that. I think that's very. I don't know. I think that's very important. Like
so there's going to come a time when this young woman sitting here next to you is going to want to pass the baton to someone else. All right. I don't know when that might be, but for right now, this is what I'm supposed to do. I would still like to have the opportunity to go sit on the beach and do a few other things, but for right now, um, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I'm very willing to show up every day and be the best I can be.
What when do you think, when if ever do you think will be time to retire? Like, do you think you ever will, or do you think you're just kind of a busy person, or like what does that look like for you?
Well, I thought I would retire when I was 65.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. So let's say 74. And there's very few shopping days left till my birthday. So whoever this person is better hurry up. Or in the
Do you
meantime,
like
I'm
do you like
still.
do you like the work? Do you like working still, or do you or is it like a money thing, or is it like do you know what I mean? Do you like would you like if you could retire, would you already, or would you keep working more or less? Like do you just
Oh,
appreciate doing something like, you know?
you know what I would like to, and I am right here, sitting here, right here with you, transitioning into talking about this. Could be the most fabulous consultant for someone just starting in the industry that they just bought someone's brothel and they want to know. I'm going to say the fast track versus making every error as many times as I did. So those are things that interest me. And so for right now, what I get to do is stay in the position I'm in as Madam Bella until that person comes in and says, "Hey, I'm probably a little late, but I'm here. You can pass the baton. How about being a consultant? And by the way, maybe you want to go to the beach and get some of those cool umbrella drinks." So those are some ideas that I like to contemplate. That it won't be like I take my last breath a moment before I get to the beach.
What were some of your mistakes that you feel?
Biggest mistake was feeling that there was, I'm going to call it lack, that I had to work really hard to get the money. And it took a long time for me to figure out that if I stayed out of the way and I allowed and I did what was in front of me to do, the money would show up anyway. And that's like, yes, you get to do your ads, but you aren't you're you aren't chasing it as such. You're allowing with uh, with the expertise you've arrived at through the beginning stages of even what you're doing. So those are, I think, key points to uh, what I call the errors. And I mean, I was scrambling. I had three mortgages, four if I counted my house, three on the brothel, and it was hard. It was something. I was a young woman, a few years younger than you, and I couldn't imagine being that much in debt, and yet I was, and yet I made it through. And I think another great way to look at it, Anthony, is what would like the older me have told the younger me? I think the older me would have said, "Relax, Bella, it all works out."
I go back and forth in that thought process because I wonder if like it worked out because you focused on it so hard. You know what I mean? And then that way, but if you chilled, you wouldn't have had that drop. You know, it's like I go back and forth on myself, and that's more I guess a reflection of myself because I'm like I just feel like that's all I'm doing right now is working. Because I'm just trying to be a millionaire. So I just like chill out and like just like just like not even have to. I mean, I don't really have to do anything ever anyway. But I mean, I'd like to have even less of that. You know, I feel like
I,
honestly.
I understand what you're saying, but one other way to say it would be when a person does what's in front of them to do, then you're walking your path. Okay, you are heading towards that millionaire. You can't just sit down and chill and wait. There is,
Gotcha.
you're in the little canoe, you've got to row. It doesn't mean you got to turn and row upstream, but if you're going downstream, which is the correct direction, you're at least guiding your canoe. And if you get really wrapped up in the tension of money, 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 it's like your canoe just turns towards the big boulder in the stream, and the next thing you know, you're like floating to the shore on what's left of it. So it's finding that middle ground where you can hear what you're supposed to do and do it. And I'm always so careful because I'm such a big personality that, when I go into Bella's, I go in just as Madam Bella. I go in and where everything is right. No matter what's happened, everything is right. And then if something happened that was a tiny bit of a ripple, I say, okay, what's the lesson? How do we get around this? How do we just make sure we never do this anymore? And so those are the things that excuse me, that make Bella's different from just what I'd call a legal brothel. It's a way of being. It's a way of being a courtesan. It's a way of having a mentor that believes that they're doing what they're doing for a reason right now. I don't have to know the reason. I just have to help them stay on their path so that when they're ready to go, that I've been the best I can be for them and they've become more of who they came to be. I hope that wasn't too far out there.
No, it makes sense. I was just taking it in. You said a lot of stuff. I was just like kind of taking it in. So there's a lot. It makes sense. Like, yeah, I'm just trying to get as rich as possible right now. That's where I feel I'm at. And then I want to chill and just like vacation as much as possible. Like, as I feel like I don't know. I feel like I've been doing this for a long time, like 19 to like 37 in a long time. So I just kind of want to be like, okay, now I could sleep in till noon on a beach somewhere, like wake up and be like, I don't know, here's 25 cents. I'm in the third world, like just be like, you got 25 cents, whatever the fuck, and stay a millionaire in some other country. It's like, that's where I want to be. It's like, I feel like all this is paying off. I have an awesome guest like you on here. Like last week we had a bunch of rock stars. This week we have a madam of like, it's a crazy vibe, and it's like, and it's good. It's getting good. It's just like, I'm at 37. I'm like, man, I'm just tired. I just want to sleep. I want to do this maybe like 5 more years or tops. Like, I don't know, maybe like till I'm 40, and then just be like, okay, now I'm gonna like leave Jumanji and shave my beard and just like go on some island in like Asia. That's what I feel like.
Well, remember, Anthony, I think that what you'll do is retool. You'll be called to do something else. It can include more relaxation.
Yes,
Right?
I feel like I beat Mario. I feel like I'm playing Mario. Like, I don't know if you played Mario in the 90s, but like Mario 3, I just like beat that game. I'm on World 8. I beat it, and I'm just like bored. It's like, okay, I've talked to like everybody other than Post Malone, I guess, at this point, or Donald Trump. I haven't had like that's like everybody else. It's like it's just like it's just like I don't know. I feel like I'm at the end of I don't know, and it's inspiring seeing you be like 73 and be like, yeah, I'm still showing up to work tomorrow. Like, I got stuff to do. So it's like kind of interesting seeing that like kind of ambition, and then I kind of like seeing that,
Well, I would like to be able to public speak and do paid and the unpaid for, and I've done that for like business classes at the community college where uh, you know where they want to be a business owner. All right, that's the big goal, and they're taking their third level business classes, and I always share with them that it would be great if it was their path to own the business. But do they understand that their path might be to be someone who can uh, represent an owner so well that clients and other people that come in think they're the owner? And every one of us look for those people because that's what makes it work uh, even better than just us solo, us alone. And like you were talking about, it's tough to have your neck in the noose every single day.
Yeah, sorry, man. I was being weird for a second. but I'm back in the game.
Yes, you are. He actually never got out yet.
Okay. Never look. No, it's inspiring. That's crazy. Like, so are you a millionaire? Is that rude? That's it.
I can say that I am a millionaire on paper.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's like my goal, and I think I'm really close to that. Like, a psychic told me I was 11 months away from it 3 months ago, and I think I'm really close to it. And like, I can't wait, and I'm gonna sleep in. You know, do you ever sleep in? Do you ever just like be like, oh my god, I did enough for a second. I can sleep in till fucking noon. You ever have that?
No, I
Excuse
think
me.
if I sleep until 7:30, I've like used up half the day.
Yeah, and that's how you get there. That's it. Waking up early every day doing it. That's how you get there. I mean, no matter what you're doing, you know.
Are
Do you
you
have any
happy?
questions for
Are
podcasting?
you happy? Are you
Happy, Matt.
happy?
Like, situationally, yeah. Situationally, yeah. I guess, you know,
That's good.
mostly.
Well, I would like for
I
your
feel like
audience to have really enjoyed us on your YouTube channel, that it was enlightening for them somehow,
yeah, I
some
think it
way.
was. I think it's cool. Yeah. Are you happy?
Yes, I wake up, I'm happy.
That's important. Yeah, I mean, it's important.
Well,
Well, I guess
I feel for people that get up and they're mad. I, I, I think that's a terrible, terrible thing. So I think being happy and being thankful that we woke up, because, I think we probably go to the mothership or something at night, and we get debriefed and briefed, and then they give us the boot. And we wake up and we go, what? And then we don't remember anything. It's a possibility, Star Wars kind of stuff.
who knows? Who knows where the soul goes while the body sleeps? You know, I'm not. I wouldn't rule it out. You know, I don't. I mean, who knows where the soul wanders? You know, at night.
And maybe there's more to the holodeck on Star Trek than we could imagine. maybe this is it.
I never watched Star. I never got into that. I don't know. I can't. Like I don't know. I got into some of the. I got into like sliders or something. But like, I never got into that whole. I don't know, Star Wars or anything. What
No,
billion dollar?
yeah, the Star Trek thing, but and this is great, and I enjoy talking to people like you, that are you're working hard.
Well, I appreciate that. That's super kind of you. That's super nice. I think most people try to be like all crazy in podcasting. You're just being really sincere, and I appreciate that. You know, that's not a nice thing to say. You know, do you have any like links or anything you want to throw out or whatever before we get out of here? We got a lot of people watching, so if like you got anything you want people to check out? Like well, first
Mhm.
she was in the New York Post and much stuff like that. If you guys want to read, they go into kind of depth about her career and stuff. It's pretty interesting. And if she has some like, sorry, I just want to make sure I mention that.
No, that's good. The New York Post,
This is good.
Nevada Independent, was in the Sun, which is it's actually part of the Post, but it's in England. And let's see, been doing a lot of podcasting. I think you're my first YouTube.
Yeah,
Wow.
YouTube's like where we go live, and then we go to like Spotify and Roku and all that stuff after. Like, it's just a good live thing. Is like people like interacting and like seeing their comments up and stuff. And like I think like it's kind of a cool thing. I mean, YouTube's really weird about what we can cover and stuff though. So it's like we're on like Rumble and Twitch too live. You know, but
Right. And I'd like for people to go to the website, bellas.us. That's BELLAS.us. And it's a great website. It's a call to action website. It's really well done. If anyone's out there seeking employment, well, fill out the little employment form and send it off to me, and I'll call you.
do you need a fluffer? Because I'm looking for employment.
Um, typically I think change is difficult for people. And so they apply, they want to, they know that what their homeostasis is, well, I know what I have, but I don't know what might be out there at Bella's, and am I really going to make money? And so that that individual, that courtesan, will typically talk herself out of it. So there's a lot of applicants, and then there's a few that are just they're ready. They're ready to make, I'm going to say, really good money and be in service that way.
How much is somebody making that doing that job?
Well, they can make anywhere from, I'm going to say, 2,500 to 10, 12,000 in a week.
Damn, a week. That's awesome.
Hmm. But
Can you?
it's also something that isn't just sex. There's more to being a courtesan. And so when one of the ladies first starts, I have trainers, I have people that help them understand, the services that they're offering, the pricing, how to interact with the client with pricing. And then, when it gets behind the closed door, well, that's between the guest and the courtesan. But there's things that even a young courtesan doesn't know. It's a profession, it's an industry. And so once she learns those things, or I'm going to say gets more comfortable talking about money and sensual services, then she becomes what I call the cortegiana onesta, which is, the I'm going to call it the educated um, courtesan that's both being able to talk, negotiate, and give a great experience behind the closed door. So it's quite in depth.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate that. And we'll have you back on sometime. Yeah, that's cool. And we should definitely do a walkthrough sometime. That's a cool idea. Like,
Okay. Oh, and my Twitter is at Bella's Hacienda. We had an Instagram, but you know how that works. You're on one second, you're off the next. So we're
yeah,
we're just on Twitter right now. Not like Frankie, man. He listed off all that stuff. They wouldn't let me stay on all those things. I'm glad he can.
yeah. Frankie's gonna be the only one left on social media soon.
I
Well,
think so. The rest of us will do it. But then we all know that freedom of speech is hit and miss.
yeah, it's fake. It's not real.
Yes.
Well,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on and stuff. If you're watching this, thank you for watching. Buy everything from the sponsors. Follow our guests. Follow me. Unfollow me. Follow me again. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate it. We'll have a movie out soon called Happy Halloween. If you're watching this right now, it'll be on this channel soon. Thank you for taking time out of your Tuesday to let's do this talk. I mean, without you, this would just be delusional. So thank you very much.